dear Vice Rector, Professor Gieselmann, dear Dean, Professor Hilgruber, dear colleagues, conference participants, and friends from, I dare to say, from all over the world. It is a great honor for me and also a great pleasure to have you all here. This evening gathering is inaugural in two respects. First, it is the opening session of this year's ASCOLA conference, bringing together competition law researchers from many countries. As you know, this conference is devoted to one of the most fundamental issues of competition law, to the goals of competition law. What are the underlying objectives of this field of law? Of course, this is an academic question. If this were not the case, it wouldn't be appropriate for ASCOLA to discuss it, as ASCOLA stands for Academic Society for Competition Law. The importance and relevance of this question, however, is not confined to academia. On the contrary, questions arising in the practice of competition law often make it necessary to refer back to the underlying goals and objectives of this branch of law. Since, as regards this question of the goals of competition law, we find ourselves at the crossroads of competition theory and practice, I'm particularly happy that our conference attracts not only researchers from many countries, but also practitioners from a number of authorities, including the Directorate General of the European Commission, Directorate General for Competition, as well as the German Federal Cartel Office. Moreover, a small group of distinguished practitioners from legal practice, attorneys at law, join also. This is the moment to express the gratitude of the organizers to a lawyers' society, the Studienvereinigung Kartellrecht, which is very generous in supporting this conference so that we can keep it free of charge for all interested academics. For this, I extend sincere thanks to the members of the Studienvereinigung Kartellrecht present today. I mentioned in the beginning that this evening event is inaugural in two respects. Besides opening the conference, we also celebrate the inauguration of a new center at the University of Bonn. Last year, this university decided to set up a new Center for Advanced Studies in Law and Economics, in short, CASTLE. Actually, Bonn has a long tradition of cooperation between legal scholars and economists, as seen by the activities in law and economics, such as the Law Econ workshop. However, we want to deepen research and tuition in this field, and the university generously supports this activity. I'm very grateful for this support, which recently led to the creation of an additional chair in law and economics. I would like to express my gratitude and that of my colleagues participating in this venture to the board of our university, meaning the Rectorat. We are honored by the presence of our vice rector, Professor Volkmar Gieselmann. Professor Gieselmann will give an address in a minute. He is a very renowned scientist in the field of biochemistry and molecular biology. On the board of our university, he is responsible for teaching, studies, and studies reform. I am also very grateful for the support from the Dean of the Faculty for Law and Economics, Professor Christian Hilgruber. He strongly supported the idea of establishing CASTLE from the very beginning, and I am particularly happy that he will give an inauguration address as well. Professor Hilgruber is a very distinguished colleague from the field of public law, who recently commented inter alia on the Lisbon Treaty and the German Constitutional Court's ruling on this treaty. He has been the dean of our faculty since October 2008. Vice Rector Professor Gieselmann, would you be so kind?
Dear Professor Zimmer, dear Professor Hillgruber, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the rector of our university, Professor Forman, who regrets that he can't be here today, I would like to welcome you to Bonn, and of course in particular to the University of Bonn. Now the city of Bonn actually has a very long history. It started a long time ago in the year 10 before Christ, when the Romans decided to build a fort on the banks of the River Rhine to fight the Germans who were living on the other side of the river. Now the Romans left after several hundred years. So the Romans left, to be clear, after several hundred years. However, the city of Bonn grew and developed around this initial Roman fort. Now the history of our university actually is much shorter. As a consequence of the French Revolution, Bonn, the city, was seized by French troops in 1794. And in the further course of events, this part of Germany actually became part of France. Now, after Napoleon was finally defeated, as you know, the Vienna Congress redistributed a large fraction of the principalities of which Germany consisted at those time, and it happened that this area here around Bonn actually became part of Prussia. Now, the character of the locals here is in a way in contrast, and not only was, is still in the way in contrast to the more austere and Protestant approach to life that the Prussians had. And so the locals here were not too enthusiastic about being Prussian citizens overnight. The Prussian king at that time, Friedrich Wilhelm, knew this, and he thought of how he could appease his new subjects. And part of his appeasement policy was that he donated and founded a university here in Bonn. That was in 1818, and so you see that by European standards, Bonn is a youngster among the universities. Compare it, for example, to Harvard, which I think was founded already 180 years earlier than Bonn. Now, at the start, there were only 35 professors who were actually located in this building here. But let me tell you that the building that you see today is actually a post-war, slightly simplified replica of the original, because unfortunately the original castle was destroyed in the last phase of World War II. Now, the 35 professors were members of 5 faculties at the start of the university, which were medicine, philosophy, the 2 theologies, and important for today's event, also law was among the starting faculties of this university. Now, over time, the social sciences, but in particular the economic sciences, grew and developed in the faculty of philosophy. And after they had grown, let's say for 100 years to a certain extent, the university decided in 1928 that it would be reasonable to merge the economic sciences from the philosophical faculty with the faculty of law, and they created a new faculty, which we still have today, the faculty of Rechts and Staatswissenschaften. Now, Rechts, of course, means law, and I can tell you I consulted a number of online and hardcover dictionaries to find an appropriate translation for Staatswissenschaft. Now, I'm a biochemist, but nothing really appealed to me. So Staatswissenschaft, I think, means, or it covers all the sciences that you would need to run and to manage a state, and of course economics is one part of it. I'm emphasizing this here because I think it has some relevance for the inauguration of the new center, because we maintained this structure since then. And as you know, many universities divided the economic sciences and law into faculties. We kept them in one. And I think, indeed, the inauguration of the Center for Advanced Studies in Law and Economics proves that this coexistence of 2 divisions in one faculty is not at all a historic relic, but is very much topical. And I believe that the faculty structure that we have maintained over the years today is very supportive for the success of this new center. Now, so much for history. What is the Bonn University today? Now, certainly, as you can imagine, we have grown from the 35 professors to more than 500 now. We have 28,000 students. 4,500 of them are foreigners, mostly actually coming from East European states, but we also have 60 American citizens among our students. We are what you would consider almost a full-range university, covering a broad spectrum of disciplines, except engineering, I have to say. And except for the 5 faculties that I've already mentioned in the beginning, during the years, we opened 2 new faculties, which are mathematics and natural sciences and the agricultural faculty. And within these faculties, we offer more than 50 different bachelor and master courses, which cover almost everything from Asian studies to zoology. Now today, our university sees itself as a really research-focused university, and we are proud that we have a number of very active and competitive research areas. Now, of relevance for, again, today's event is that in the division of law, the research is very well known and has an excellent reputation in the field of public/constitutional law, civil law, but also not to forget criminal law. It must also be appreciated that our colleagues from the economic sciences were very successful in the first round of the German Excellence Initiatives with their application for the Bonn Graduate School of Economics. And I would also like to mention that they are running a collaborative research center on governance and efficiency of economic systems. Now, I think in this context of research in the Faculty of Rechts and Staatswissenschaften, the new center will play a pivotal role. The Center for Advanced Studies in Law and Economy will certainly further strengthen the ties between these 2 disciplines, and I think it will be an important building block for the future scientific development and success of these disciplines in our university. Now, the board or the rectorate of the university is convinced that it will play an important role in, I hope, not only maintaining but extending the scientific excellence at our university, because we believe that the interdisciplinarity which is provided or which is in the center of this organization will yield new seminal research areas in the next years. Therefore, of course, the rectorate of the Bonn University very much appreciates the inauguration of this new center. We are convinced it will be successful, and we wish the members and the center as such success and all our best wishes. Now, today's event serves not only the purpose for inauguration of this new center, it also serves the purpose of opening a scientific conference. Now, I wish all of you a very inspiring, productive, and informative meeting. I hope that on Sunday afternoon, when the meeting ends, you will find your visit to Bonn rewarding and worthwhile, and I hope you will leave with the feeling that you should come back. So I wish you a most enjoyable stay, and I thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure and honor to cordially welcome you, all of you, as our guests at the official opening of the Center for Advanced Studies in Law and Economics. We are delighted that so many of you have accepted our invitation. A special welcome is the many participants of the World Congress of Academic Society for Competition Law, hosted by my colleague Zimmer, whom I would like to thank on behalf of the entire faculty. Besides the focused legal doctrine in the core subjects of private, public, and criminal law, the law department of the Faculty of Law and Economics does intensive fundamental research in legal history, legal philosophy, and legal theory. In accentuation of this research devoted to the foundations of law, the department has now made the decision to develop a specific profile in the field of law and economics. Under the umbrella of the newly founded Center for Advanced Studies in Law and Economics, the existing law will be analyzed economically in close interdisciplinary collaboration between lawyers and economists. This is a cooperation already existing for decades, extended by and by, which now becomes institutionalized and made visible under a strong trademark. Without the generous material and ideal support from Rector and Chancellor, the founding of this faculty center would have been impossible. And I would therefore take the opportunity to thank them once again very much for their help and their trust. Law and economics denotes a direction in research which contributes with methods of modern economics to answer legal questions on the level of legislation as well as of application of law. It was initially established in the United States of America since the 17th of the 20th centuries as its own discipline. The Faculty of Law and Economics of the University of Bonn seems to me like only few other faculties in Germany and Europe predestined to become an internationally visible center in this modern and forward-looking branch of research. Both departments summarized in the faculty already are on their own in terms of research strength to the top of their respective subject. Those colleagues in the Department of Economics working in the field of institutional economics have made important contributions in the past with the economic analysis of institutions, also legal institutions. The opposite way around, many members of the Department of Law have integrated the results of modern economics researches into their studies. In the past, there has already been cooperation at different levels between members of both departments, including the scientists at the Max-Planck-Institut for Research on Collective Goods. Head of the castle will be the colleagues Schweitzer, Wagner, and Zimmer, internationally renowned as researchers in the field of law and economics. The management will be in good hands with Mr. Zimmer, who can be described as the founding father of this castle. The faculty is confident that the castle will rapidly acquire reputation as a place of excellent research and teaching and of fertile international scientific exchange under this leadership.
Many thanks, Louis, for this most interesting contribution. You provided us with your very differentiated analysis of the advantages and the shortcomings of a redistribution by a tax and transfer system on the one hand, and of a competition law system on the other hand. And in the second part, you shared with us your thoughts about the impact of the price level, of the existing price level, on competition policy decisions. So I'm very much looking forward to tomorrow's discussions, which may reveal how these ideas classify within the broad range of possible thinkable competition law goals. So once more, many, many thanks to you.